Hey everyone, welcome to Ian and Friends. I am FloBikes Senior Editor Ian Dille.
And I am FloBikes intern Preston Glace. And today we saw stage 12 of the Tour de France finishing up L'Alpe d'Huez, and we're going to give you our 5 takeaways. So,
takeaway number 1. This bike race is really hard. We saw an insanely aggressive start on the Col de la Madeleine by Team Movistar. Andre Amador was going nuts. He forced a selection containing Alejandro Valverde, Stefan Kruijswijk, Pierre Rolland, Alaphilippe, Warren Barguil. All the top racers, all the top climbers in the Tour de France were off the front. Team Sky literally had to let them go because Wout Poels was coming out of the back of this group like an hour into this bike race. And the carnage it caused was not only, the fatigue on the GC riders, but the sprinters. There are no more sprinters left in this bike race.
No.
Pure sprinters. I mean, Demar is maybe the last pure sprinter. So if he makes it to the Champs-Élysées, he's got a good chance of winning. And the real beneficiary is Peter Sagan. But, this is really going to add up over the course of this race when we're seeing, yesterday, incredibly hard race with Valverde going on the attack, Dumoulin going on the attack. Come to the third week of this tour, we could see some big changes based on how hard the racing has been in the Alps so far.
Yeah, and speaking of people going on the attack, how about Stefan Kruijswijk just totally owning it today? And he went from a long ways out, and when he hit the bottom of Alpe d'Huez, it seemed like he was going to take it. I mean, he had over 4 minutes, which you would expect. That's plenty of time.
I was on pins and needles. A Dutch rider coming to Alpe d'Huez, which is the Dutch mountain.
Yeah, I mean, he goes through Dutch corner. You've got all the fans going wild for him, right? And the time gap just started tumbling, which just showed like how fast they were going up it. I know like the fastest time up it officially is Nairo Quintana, but today Romain Bardet set the Strava KOM. Yeah, 41 something
41 minutes and 23 seconds, almost a minute faster than Thibaut Pinot's time, according to Strava, in 2015. So definitely a very fast day up this mountain, and it showed.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. And it was just kind of heartbreaking to see Kruijswijk get caught after being solo for so long and being in the breakaway and then attacking and riding away solo and just getting caught.
Yeah, and it seemed like everybody sat up then once they caught him and started playing cat and mouse and going for the stage victory, which brings me to point number 3, is that this co-leader situation at Team Sky could come back to bite them later in this race, because we saw as soon as they caught Kruijswijk, Froome attacked, Dumoulin chased him down. There was basically everybody started riding for the stage win. Instead of, there's 2 Sky riders in this group, you would think one of them would go to the front and drive it for the leader to put the nail in the coffin for riders like Landa, Quintana, Nibali, Roglic. I mean, these are all guys that were 30 seconds or more off the back of this group, and they let them back into the race. I mean, this overall classification is, not super tight, but you never know what's going to happen. Geraint Thomas has never finished better than 15th place in a Grand Tour. There's a lot of warm fuzzies on Sky, I think, with having 1-2 right now, but at some point they're going to have to decide who the leader is.
Yeah, they can't just kind of let this keep going. It's very hard to have 2 guys both going for the leadership position. And they keep saying that, Thomas keeps saying, no, Froome is still the leader, but the way he's riding, it doesn't seem like it.
He definitely seemed like he was riding for himself today, and kudos to him, he won on top of Alpe d'Huez, but Froome's the leader. Then when they're in a group of 4 on the top of a mountain, he goes to the front and drives it to keep Landa from chasing back on, which he didn't do. So.
Okay, point number 4, and something that really, really annoyed me, and always does, is the fans. Like, let the bike racers race their bikes. Don't interfere. Like, what's up with this fan punching Froome? I mean, it's good. Like, we saw it. He was, like, in handcuffs after the stage, but seriously, like, just let the racers do their thing. we saw like on the Zonkel end, they had all the security guards for the last few hundred meters, but this is like Alpe d'Huez, you've got kilometers and kilometers where there's just fans lining the road, running alongside them, doing crazy stuff, and just...
Yeah. I'd like to see more like vigilante fan action. I mean, if you can't find enough French policemen to line the sides of Alpe d'Huez, you would think that there would be more fans policing other fans. You know, there's a lot of like ad campaigns, literally like commercials in France, you know, pleading to fans not to do stupid things like set off flares and run alongside the riders. Like we saw a fan actually bumping Kreiswick as he was trying to make his way up this mountain. So I think it's really down to the fans, you know, as drunk as some of them are, to police each other.
Yeah, yeah, and the thing, like, you don't see in other sports, you don't see the fans interfering with the game. You don't see fans jumping over the fence and like running down onto the field in a football game or something.
Yeah.
They are there, they're close to the action, but they give the athletes their space to compete, and then they just accept the outcome.
Right. I mean, and it's the constant conflict in cycling. That's what makes it such a great sport, is that you can get close enough to literally reach out and touch the riders as they're coming back. But, you know, for years and years and years, it's gotten to the point where it's causing issues, and, you know, at some point, something's going to have to be done.
Yeah.
So, all right. Point 5, final point, Lawson Craddock. We don't hide our fanboyism for Lawson Craddock here at FloBikes. We're in Austin. He's an Austin local. But man, he had a great ride today. You know, 42nd place for somebody that's literally last place in the Tour de France, has a broken shoulder. He was in a very select group of 40 riders on the Col de la Croix de Feu, and shows he has great legs. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he could actually win a stage in this Tour de France, you know, given the right circumstances. And imagine that all the money that would raise for the Alkek Velodrome. I mean, he's kind of riding for a higher purpose here, without, you know, Rigoberto Urán in the race anymore. You know, EF Education, Drapac. You know, these riders are going to have free reign to go in breakaways, go for stage wins. So these next few days are really kind of lumpy days. They play well to a breakaway. So I would not be surprised at all to see Lawson going up in the road. And at that point, I think we'll all be cheering for a stage win, and can only imagine the amount of money that and goodwill that would raise for the Alkek Velodrome to help it recover from Hurricane Harvey.
Oh, for sure. I can't imagine what a stage win from Lawson would do for the Velodrome.
No pressure, Lawson. All right, that's all we got for today. We'll be back with some more hot takes from another stage of the Tour de France. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, thank you.